pick up the phone. All right, he picked up the phone, and I didn't know who it was for you, and they said it was his people.
Are you guys complaining about me not being on time?
No. We ain't talking about you, Nick.
No.
Not you, Nick.
No. It's, two different words.
The other guy, when you was off for a while, the other guy was in your slot here. And he was like a troublemaker. He was like a crybaby. Yeah, they used to get on loose nerves all the time.
He was just giving everybody crap. All right, I'm ready to go when you're ready.
Okay.
Ready? Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Real Estate Plate. As always, I'm your host, Nick Sakalis, coming to you live from the WGBB studios here in America, New York. And everybody's staying dry. Everybody get home okay. Hopefully, if you're still on the road home, you're taking care of yourself, driving carefully, because it is insane today for some reason. We got tornado warnings coming in from Jersey. I don't know how fast the winds are. Anybody, you have a weather guy here in the station telling you the weather? That's what we need. We need a weather guy or weather girl.
Man. It was terrible out there. That's all I know.
It's nasty.
Yeah, very nasty. Yeah.
Nasty. I saw an accident right on Sunrise Highway coming around here. I think that had to do more with the people being idiots than the weather. Jeez, every day you're hearing something. If the coronavirus is going to get you, it's going to be a car accident. You can't catch a break. But hopefully everybody had an amazing, absolute amazing Thanksgiving weekend. Hopefully everybody stayed under 10 people because Cuomo was going to be peeking out your window. People are laughing. He's coming to get you.
He won't be able to get me because I ain't going to let him know when I'm home.
It is so crazy the world we're living in today. It really is. Like the things that we never thought of being an issue in life in 2020 are issues. We're worried about a pandemic. I'm not making any joke of it. And, obviously this is a serious thing. And we should all be really, careful what we're doing. We still don't know all the details. We still don't know everything that's happening. But at the same time, we got this thing that we're worried about. We got elections that got this whole whole country divided. You got the Trump supporters, you got the Biden supporters, you got the leftists, you got the rightists, you got the maniacs, you got the people that are semi-maniacs. You have everybody that's just going nuts right now and holding firm onto their thoughts and opinions and making life very, very difficult. You also got the fact that 2020 is the year of don't talk. You can't say anything anymore. Anything you say is, if it's agreed by the masses, you're okay. But if you got that opinion about, you're in trouble. And Facebook and YouTube and the whole nine. Don't look at me. I have a microphone. I say whatever I want, and I'm still gonna have the microphone next week. I got a contract going on right now, so they can't get rid of me, or they're gonna pay me to get rid of me. So as long as I got this microphone in front of me, I'm not going anywhere. Maybe when the contract's up, they'll get rid of me. We'll see. We'll see how bad the sponsors are going to go after us. But that being said, I got a jam-packed show today. I have a lot of stuff that I really want to talk about. I'm not going to take any calls unless somebody that calls Trevor pushes me to take. I was supposed to have a guest. I'm not sure if he's still coming on or not. He was supposed to be a special guest. That's why I don't announce guests ahead of time most of the time, because what happens is last second they change their minds or something else comes up, because you know what? The real estate plate is not their priority. So they're not going to be on my show, and they say next week and that kind of thing, as if I'm going to sit there every week waiting for them. But that's okay. If that person calls up, I'll take his call. But other than that, I'm not going to really take a lot of calls today because of the fact that I got a lot to go through. I have a lot on my mind. We have a lot of stuff going on in the real estate world besides our regular world. And I don't believe I will get everything into the show, but I'm going to cram in as much as I humanly can. And I will probably have another live stream from another location to continue the conversation after the show is done. We'll see. Depends if a monsoon hits me on the way home. We'll see what happens. But that being said, I kind of teased everybody earlier today through social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, stating that in the spirit of the holiday season, and it's Cyber Monday today. If that still means anything, Cyber Monday today. I need to get somehow in the spirit. Normally, there's not much we could do. It's not like we're giving away free houses. But what I could do is, for everybody that's watching the show, I'm doing a giveaway, and we're gonna give away $125 Amazon gift card for every 100 likes that we get on this video on YouTube, and we're gonna do the same for Facebook, and we're gonna continue doing this throughout the holiday season, all the way up until the end of the year. Every Monday, when we're doing the live stream, whenever we hit 100 likes, we're going to be giving away a $25 gift card. Now, it doesn't end there. Let me just give everybody instructions of how to be able to be a participant in this giveaway, because it's not complicated. It's very simple. For some reason, a lot of people don't like to follow instructions. So I'm going to make it very crystal clear and simple. The people that are watching on YouTube, what I need from you is a like and a comment. Why do I need that comment on YouTube? To be able to know who are the people that actually liked the video, because I can't tell from YouTube. It doesn't let me see who actually liked it. They're anonymous, the likes. So I need a comment. If you're shy and you don't want to put a comment in, take a screenshot of the like. Email me at realestateplateradio@gmail.com, and I'll take that as a valid entry. Super simple. While you're doing that, make sure you also subscribe. It'd be nice. It'll help. It'll help grow the channel. It'll help improve the algorithm. So let's try to do that. And on the Facebook live stream, it's a lot easier. I could tell the people that actually like the video from their names, and I'll be able to put there. If you want to put a comment, that'll be great, but you don't have to go through that process on the Facebook live video. Now, for Facebook, it's going to be only every Monday as far as this giveaway is concerned. But the big but is I'm not going to just do this every Monday. Every time we're going to release a live video, actually, it doesn't even have to be live. Every time we post a video onto YouTube, we're going to hold the same Amazon gift card giveaway. So this could get really expensive for me, depending on how many videos I put out this month. We're going to do this for every single video. And at the same time, we're going to run it all the way up until December 31st. Like I said, this could get really expensive. So I'm going to cap off the giveaway at 5 per video. So once we get to 500 likes, I'm more than happy to see more likes hit the boards, but that's where we're going to cap it out on the giveaway. But, you know, if you don't make it in time on the video, press a like anyway. It'll give me enough fuel and enough motivation to keep doing these giveaways. Hopefully this helps some people with the holidays. Hopefully it puts a smile on somebody's face as far as the winners are concerned. And the way the giveaways are going to be done, every time we reach the 100 likes, I'm going to be putting all the names into some kind of swirly bin, that kind of a thing. We're going to have anonymous person. Maybe I'll have Trevor pull out one of the names. Maybe I'll have somebody else pull out the names that's anonymous, that's not going to be biased, and is going to declare the winner. Unlike our elections, this one's going to be clear with no controversy and absolutely a crystal clear winner. Not getting into politics today. Maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not going to get started. Forget it. Let's not get into the politics today because I got so much other stuff to get into. Actually, let's get into politics a little bit. I'm not going to get into the presidential stuff, but I'm going to get into what's been happening right now here in New York specifically. And I know that a lot of other states and cities have been feeling the same that we have. And those effects are based on the actions, on the mandates, on either laws or implied laws, because it's not clear that if a lot of the stuff that we're being mandated to do is actually legally binding or not. I'm not sure. I'll give you a perfect example. We were just joking about the whole Thanksgiving thing of 10 under 10 people. I don't know how legally binding that is to be able to do that. What are you going to do to that two-bedroom apartment that has 15 people living in it? You think I'm exaggerating? There's apartments like that out there. You're gonna find them? They all live in there. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on right now as far as the laws are concerned. But what it's doing, it's having a real ripple effect and a dramatic, long-standing effect on the business world, on the real estate world, on our personal worlds, in our psychology as a society. I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with in 2020, there's going to be studies 5 to 10 years from now showing how messed up people got from this whole situation psychologically. Not even touching the financial, because a lot of people, because of the financial situations, will be psychologically messed up. But I'm not even getting into details. But mark my words, replay this back. If the YouTube experience still exists, I'm sure that my video will be floating around somewhere in 5 to 10 years. Replay it. And you tell me if I was right or wrong as far as people being psychologically messed up. I'm pretty confident that something like this will occur. I hope not. I hope I'm completely wrong. And people replay the video and tell me, Nicky, you're out of your mind. You're nuts. I hope that's the case. I generally do. It's the only time that I'll accept being wrong. I want to be wrong, but I'm not. And that's a problem. So what's happening right now, all these mandates that we're dealing with, let's start off with the restaurant industry. You have a scenario right now where, because of the overwhelming closings of the occupancy levels that they're allowing inside these places and the curfews that they're mandating, you have a situation that is catastrophic to the restaurant industry. Catastrophic. And I understand I completely understand if this was all with intent of just making sure everybody's safe and doing the right thing. But what I can't understand is the hypocrisy, because it seems that in certain sectors, in certain type of businesses, it's okay to have higher restrictions. In other ones, that it's not okay. You explain to me, why is it okay in New York, for example, to have 10 people in one space, but in Ohio it's only 8, or another state it's only 6? Who comes up with these things? These are not studies that are done because of medicine, because of scientific studies. These are studies that are being made. These are opinions, and I almost feel like sometimes people are pulling something out of a hat and saying, "Okay, I think this many people is appropriate, and these people, this many people is not appropriate." I'm not being critical just to be attacking the politicians and that kind of thing. I'm really not. I'm just trying to understand get some logic out of this, because it doesn't make any sense to me. You're not allowed to have more than 25% or 50%. It's actually 25% of occupancy in the restaurants. But it's okay to have a subway that's full of people crammed like sardines. And trust me, that is happening. I get pictures and I get videos all the time of this happening, where they're jammed up with each other, and half of them are not wearing masks. That's okay. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Can somebody please help me out? Because this is like, help me understand. Because if I'm flawed in my thinking, if I'm completely off my rocker with what I'm saying, please correct me. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's a little bit nutty. That's what I have to say. The logic. If the whole country uniformly went by a certain code and a certain understanding, this is what we have to do. This is how many people could be in a room together. This is how many feet apart you have to be. This is our policy on masks. This is our whatever. If there was a uniform type of understanding and code throughout the country, I would be able to understand it a lot more. What I don't understand is why one thing is okay for one city and one thing is not okay in another city. And we're talking about major city. I'm not talking about going into like some miniature 200 occupancy town in Kansas or something. I'm talking about big cities. Why is there a big difference between how people work and react in New York in comparison to Florida or Texas or or California? And why, for some reason, California and New York, for some reason, if they got different governors, they got different politicians, but for some reason, it feels like they have the same brain that they're all using. I don't know. Again, I'm not doing this to be critical. I'm just trying to understand. And if there's somebody out there that can help me understand, I would be so appreciative. I would appreciate that so much. We've talked about masks in the past. I got my mask. The only reason I'm not wearing my mask right now is because I'm in front of the microphone. I need to speak. You're looking at me in the camera. I got Trevor behind you. See that glass that's behind me? That's where Trevor's behind. I'm well beyond 6 feet from him. He's got his mask too. We obey the policies. When I get up and I walk through the room where Trevor is, I put my mask back on. I'm respectful of it. Again, I understand there's a lot of people that don't believe that masks will help you. And that might be true or might not be true. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. And I tell you something, the doctors don't even know what they're talking about, whether they're right or not. But what I do know is a mask, I don't believe, this is my own simple little brain and naive thinking, I don't believe a mask will hurt you. So if it doesn't hurt you and there's a possibility of it protecting you, and forget about yourself. If you want to die, you want to die, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, that's your problem. But protect yourself and protect everybody else around you. That I could get with. You know, I'll get with it. I don't like wearing this stupid mask all day. You know how many masks I had to change today in this weather? Every time I would go outside, I get soaked. I'm wearing damn mask, and it's like I'm wearing like a wet towel on my face. I have to throw them away. During the day, I usually use a lot of disposables because I want to get rid of them. I don't want to wear them again and that kind of thing. But, that's basically what we're dealing with. So let's not get too far out. This is not a medical show. This is not a coronavirus show. This is not a show telling people what's morally right or wrong to do. Everybody, the one thing that I know deep down, no matter how twisted or warped you are as a human being, no matter how nuts you might be, I truly have a belief that everybody deep down knows what's right and wrong to do. Whether they choose to do what's right or wrong is a different story. But deep down, I really, truly believe that everybody knows what you need to do. Again, not everybody chooses to do that, and that's their prerogative. I'm not going to become a dictator and force things down people's throats. It's just what it is. But that being said, we started talking about this as far as what the ramifications are in business and in real estate. So, of the restaurants, and the reason why this is not just a restaurant thing, it's a business in general. Look at all the movie theaters. Look at all the public gathering places, the catering halls, lounges, bars. Whether you like this business or you don't like this business, you believe bars are for the devil or they're for normal people that want to go and just have a good time. That's your prerogative. That's your thing. But these are businesses that people spent a lot of money, in a lot of cases, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to build up. And they're taking their livelihood has been taken away from them. And there hasn't been much relief. Everybody's talking about the small business loans that were given out and the PPP and all that stuff. And those are Band-Aids. Those are loans. Those are loans that are given out. What are you going to do? Yeah, some of it will get forgiven. But that's not going to be enough to get these businesses going through. And what's happening is the latest stat that we saw were about 4,000 businesses are projected to never reopen in New York City. You know what 4,000 businesses are? That's, I don't know how many families, how many individual owners, how many people as a whole that are going to lose their jobs forever. Now, they might find another job down the line, but until that happens, they're going to be unemployed. In a lot of cases, when you have the independent contractors, the sole proprietors that don't have the ability to get any more unemployment, they're wiped out. They're completely wiped out. So you can say, Nick, why are you sitting and talking about restaurants and businesses when this is a real estate show? The reason I'm talking about it, 4,000 businesses that are not going to reopen is the equivalent of approximately 4,000 vacant spaces that are going to be out there. And that's after the whole either eviction process or the walkout or the buyouts, or whatever the case is with the landlords. I'm going to get on the landlords a little bit. But we're talking about vacancies. And we've talked about this in the past. Escape from New York is a true thing that is happening right now. The same way it's happening in many other metros, leaving the high density cities, going to the suburbs, leaving the states altogether in many cases. That's happening here. It is real. That has not in any way lessened. It's kind of crazy. Because not only are you going to have all these commercial spaces that are vacating one by one, and many have already vacated, you don't have a surplus of people eager to get back into the city, and you have more and more people leaving the city, and you also have a ton of vacant apartments right now that are not filling up. And what happens when you have vacant apartments, you have landlords that are getting close to the verge of no return. How long can you possibly bear having vacancies? And you could say, well, just lower the prices and you'll be fine. Well, it's not so easy when you still got a loan to pay. It's not so easy when you got real estate taxes that are through the roof. It's not so easy when National Grid and Con Edison is knocking on your door and say, pay me. Pay me or I'm going to shut off your electric. Pay me or I'm going to shut off your heat. And in any other business out there, the owner has the right to lock the door, hand the keys back to the owner, and say, we're going out of business. We're going bankrupt. They could do that. Can't do that as a landlord. You decide to shut off the heat or not pay the utility bills, the water bills, guess what happens? You get fines because every single tenant in that building or house or whatever the size of the unit is going to be calling 311 and they're going to be saying, I want my heat. And what happens then? Mr. and Mrs. Landlord, have a nice fine. Here's your penalty. Oh, you didn't do it today either? You're going to get a compounded fine. And you're going to get every single day that you don't take care of that problem, a compounded fine over and over again until they bleed you to death. Am I being dramatic? Absolutely not. I'm actually being very conservative. I'm being really nice about it. I'm being very frank about it. And I'm smiling right now so I don't show my true feelings of how unfair this whole situation is, because it is not a right situation. And I've talked about this in the past. And I'm going to just break this down for you, because I hope that there's some attorneys listening right now, because I'm trying to understand the legality of what's being done right now. I have this knot in my stomach. I have this crazy notion that what's happening of isolating landlords right now is a direct form of class discrimination or perceived class discrimination, because not all landlords are created equal. Not all landlords have thousands and thousands of apartments. You have a lot of them that have a two-family house that they're occupying the one apartment and they're renting out the other to get supplemental income. You have a lot of scenarios like that. You have some of these landlords that have a whole house and they're renting out a couple of rooms in order to be able to break even and pay the bills to be able to keep their house. Now, I'm not saying who's doing that or who's not doing that, because I don't know how the city likes that or not, but they're doing it. You got other people with basement apartments and that kind of thing that they have no legal ramifications because they got the building department down their neck. On top of all this other stuff that we're talking about, we have this looming eviction moratorium that's sitting in place. And this is where I hope that there's some attorneys listening and they could actually shed some light and help me out with this situation and come to a better understanding of how legal this situation is. Because how is it that you isolate one specific sector and one specific class and take away their entire form of being able to generate any kind of income, but still force them to continue to provide that service with no guarantee that they'll ever get compensated for that service? And regardless if they have the financial ability to be able to continue or not. And I'm going to just break it down very simply right now, and I'll give you a good understanding. You have a situation right now where you have an blanket eviction moratorium. You cannot evict a tenant anytime before January, okay? Which nobody's going to get evicted in January because that's when the courts are going to start seeing cases. If a big if, the eviction moratorium does not get extended, because it could, because it got extended 3 times already. It went from June, that was supposed to end, to August 20th, to October, to now January. And by the way, this is not in every single state this treated the same way. Certain states applied harsher mandates on top of what the federal CDC mandate is than others, New York being one of them. But again, I'm not going to harp onto New York politics and stuff like that. We got a problem altogether, and that's for much more patient people and educated people than I am to be able to discuss. I have no tolerance for that stuff, and I can't deal with it. But what I can deal with and I can speak about is something that is clearly wrong. And what is clearly wrong right now is you're isolating the housing provider sector. Because that, don't get me twisted, because a landlord is a housing provider, okay? Which, by my definition, maybe other people have different definitions and different understanding of what the English language presents and like what words really mean. By my understanding and my definition of what a housing provider is, it's an essential form of service that is needed. People need to live in houses. Number one thing, people need to have shelter, and they have to have food and water. These are the things people that are critical for people's survival. You don't have these things, you're not going to live, especially if you have a bad winter this year. So we're looking at a situation where landlords are being told, you're going to have to continue to provide these services for tenants that are not paying your rent. This is meant for people that have been affected by the coronavirus, COVID-19, this pandemic. But regardless if they were affected by this or not, you still can't evict anybody. So they don't have to prove to you that they're sick. And if they are sick, they should be helped in one way or the other. They don't have to prove to you if they have any type of employment, because I I I wish they would take evidence of people that are falsely saying that they're not working and when they're clearly working. That's happening a lot. Or when they're not paying any rent and all of a sudden they drive in with a brand new BMW into their driveway and say, what the hell just happened? They're not paying me the rent. They're coming in with a brand new 2020 BMW in the driveway. You think I'm exaggerating? I'm not. This is true. This is these things that I'm saying are true facts. Again, I'm not throwing a blanket over everybody and saying everybody is the same and nobody's being affected, because people are being affected. And the people that are being affected by COVID-19 and coronavirus, they should be helped. And the landlords should try to find ways to work with these people. But it should also be the government that comes in to help the situation as well. Because here's the part that I don't understand, how legally this is possible that's happening right now. Because you're turning around and telling landlords you need to continue providing these services even though you're not being compensated, even though you're not receiving any type of funds to cover your expenses. But the utilities, Con Edison, National Grid, if your oil company, Petro, all these oil companies, they continue to get paid. There's no pay moratorium on the utilities. DEP, the water department, there's no pay moratorium on the water department. And if you're not paying the water department, guess what happens? You're going to get a fine. And you don't pay again, you're going to get a fine. And you're going to pay interest rate until you pay it off. And if you don't ever get a chance to pay it off, guess what? We're going to put a lien and possibly foreclose on you over a damn water bill. Let's ratchet it up even more. Something else, something that the state and the government has absolutely control over, but they refuse to do something about. There's no pay moratorium on real estate taxes. Let me repeat that. There's no pay moratorium on real estate taxes. So if a landlord who is not being paid their rents in order to pay their real estate taxes, and they don't have a dime in their pocket to be able to cover, because we've been almost the larger part of 2020 in this eviction moratorium. You know what it is to not get any kind of income to cover your expenses on a piece of real estate that's meant to be income producing? That's catastrophic to a lot of people. And by the way, a lot of landlords usually have a second job, what their primary job, to be able to support the building, the real estate, the rental property during hard times or whenever there's a higher expenses. But what happens if you end up losing your job as a landlord? And now you're not getting any other kind of any kind of other income coming in. What are you going to do then? You're screwed. That's basically what's happening. And that's why I'm not understanding of why this is acceptable, why this is allowed. Why? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. You're not asking that doctor who went to 10, 12 years of medical school to, out of the goodness of their heart, to go and provide the healthcare service. They're essential. And I'm not saying you should do that. And you know what? Those medical loans that you have, I don't care. Keep paying them. You're not telling them that. They're going to continue to get paid. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Cuomo, that $25,000 raise that you just put on yourself, you're taking away other people's livelihoods and you're giving yourself a raise. This should tell you what kind of quality human being you are. This is insane what we're dealing with. Now you're seeing me, I'm getting really, really livid and really animated. And I haven't even touched the topic of MLS yet, which I'm still on fire about. And by the way, nobody from the MLS board has contacted me to be on the radio with me, which is giving me the reason to believe that you are hiding something. And I'm going to expose what you're hiding, but we'll get into that. Hopefully we can get into this show. But if we don't, I'm going to get really animated about it on a live stream. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I feel and what I'm discovering. Because you know what's dangerous? When you have time and you know how to read a little bit and you have this magical thing called Google, you start to learn things. And you start to read things. Some of them are accurate, some of them are inaccurate, but you take a combination of all, you absorb it, and now you form opinions. And now I got plenty of opinions. But what I'm going to, let's not divert, let's get back onto this. So the doctors are not being told, provide your health care at no charge. But by the way, if you were going to not get paid, we're going to, as a doctor, here's the equivalent. Let's make the doctor work for free in the hospitals, treat people with coronavirus all day, and not get paid. Not only that, pay taxes on their medical equipment. And if you don't, you're going to get your medical equipment repossessed from you. Yeah, that sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Like, this is the equivalent of what we're talking about. And then on top of that, continue to pay your medical bills and be in debt for the rest of life. And if you're not, we're going to send you on the street because you're apparently not as important as other human beings. That's what they're telling landlords. Or you're turning around to the supermarket owner or the bodega owner and telling them, you know what? We're in a pandemic right now. We want you to empty out everything on your shelves and give it away. And you're going to get a bunch of IOUs from everybody. And they might pay you. Maybe they won't pay you. How do you think the grocery store owners and the supermarket owners are going to react to that? Oh, and by the way, continue to pay rent, continue to pay your taxes, continue to pay your employees' salaries, but give away all your product for free. Go ahead, give it all for free. And then if you don't get it after this whole pay moratorium is over, you have the opportunity, Mr. and Mrs. Supermarket owner and Mrs. Grocery store owner, to sue for your money. Maybe you'll get it. Highly doubtful that you're going to get it all. You'll be lucky if you get pennies on the dollar. This talks about possibly the government turning around and doing a voucher system to try to help people that are in arrears with their rents. And that might happen. I have belief that something along those lines might happen or might help the pay some portions of the rent or whatever the case is. That might happen. But I guarantee you it's not going to cover people that are not affected by COVID. They're not going to give out vouchers to everybody, blanket vouchers. They're not going to give vouchers to the deadbeats that just refuse to pay. They're not. What's going to happen with the landlord then? They're going to be done holding. They're going to be stuck holding the bag. Kind of nuts. It really is kind of nuts. You know, I'm trying to be as PC about it, as nice and like calm and cool headed when I'm talking about this. I'm trying as much as I can, but it's so hard to do that when it's clearly wrong. It's just wrong. And I just feel that it's illegal. I don't have this raw feeling that there's something illegal about what's happening. There's a form of discrimination that's happening. And this is not a black and white thing. This is not a race thing. This is not a cultural thing. This is a a specific attack on one sector. I don't know why more people are not talking about this. I really don't know. Whether you're, I know why the tenants aren't talking about this because they're going to ride the wave. And even, you know what? There's some good tenants out there that understand and they're agreeing with the landlords because they're hardworking people and they know what's right from wrong. And I'll tell you something. In my personal case, the tenants that are legitimate quality human beings, they reach out to me and they talk to me and they say, Nick, I'm having problems. I'm not working. I'm doing what I can. I just got some money. Here's $100. Here's $200. I know that it's not going to do anything, but I'm doing what I can. And you know how much I respect that? Just that phone call alone. Just one phone call alone by saying, Nick, I'm trying. Instead of me calling a million times with no response or getting a door slammed in my face. And I know there's a lot of people that have had that happen that refuse to even reply to you. You send the letters, you send them certified, registered. They're not answering anything. It's ridiculous. It really is. And I don't know. Like I said, I hope that there's some attorneys listening. And if they're not listening now live, I hope that they start listening on the replays. And maybe they can enlighten me and help me come up with a better understanding. Because there's something right now nagging, and it's like this hard rock of a pit in my stomach that's basically telling me there's a class action lawsuit in this right now. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know these things. So if there is somebody, please help me out. Tell me if I'm off base or if I'm just sour grapes. Maybe I'm just feeling I'm on the wrong side of the fence with this one. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Enlighten me. Maybe I'm out of my mind. And I'm going to be structuring a solutions list for everybody. Now, I don't know if the solutions I come up with will be the best solutions. They're going to be the solutions that come out of my little brain. The solutions that my limited mental capacity can come up with. But I promise you that those solutions that I come up with are going to be much better than zero right now because we don't have any solutions. So I'm going to make my own plan of how to solve this situation. Put it out on a video, and maybe people will agree with it. Maybe a politician will take note of it and listen to it. And maybe something can be taken out of that and try to fix these nasty situations. Maybe. I don't know. You know, I need to take a pause right now because my blood red. I'm getting nuts right now. I really am. Trevor, have you seen me get this animated about anything in a while?
You're a very cool guy.
I'm usually pretty cool, calm, and collective.
Yep.
But, it's wrong. What's happening is wrong. How would you feel if Jeff, our good friend Jeff here at the studio, the manager, decided to tell you, Trevor, I love what you're doing for us. You do such a great job. We're providing such a great service for the public by putting all these wonderful radio shows out in the airwaves for everybody to listen to. But for about a year, you're not going to get paid. You got to continue to pay your gas. You're going to have to pay your gas. And you know what? We can't handle electric, so you pay for the electric too. And we'll see what happens after. If the station's still open at the end, maybe you'll get paid. We're going to do our best to pay you. But don't worry. The government's going to help you. Would you do it? No, right? You walk away, right? But you have that option. You have that option. That's the option that landlords don't have. They're stuck. And if they do anything that doesn't go by the mandate and the plan that the government is telling them to do, they're basically anything. They're basically considered the Antichrist. They're the demons. They're the villains. And all they're trying to do is keep themselves afloat and put food on their own family's table. They're literally taking food off of one table and putting it on somebody else. How do you determine that? How do you determine who should eat and who should not eat? Because that's what they're doing. It's nuts. It's nuts. And a lot of landlords that are like that's how they get all their income. Maybe they own 5-10 units. And that's enough to be able to have them survive on a year. They have a moderate life and they're getting 5-10 rents a year, like every month, and they pay their expenses or whatever's left over. That's how they live. And believe me, after all the expenses, there's not a lot left over after 5-10 rents. But let's say that's what they're doing for a living. And they don't have that anymore. And not only that, I just forgot to mention, like, I'm talking about utilities, I'm talking about fixed expenses that you have to pay. What happens when you have those tenants that are destroying the apartment or the building purposely right now, and you're having that happening a lot? You have a lot of that happening. What happens when that occurs? The landlord's still forced to actually repair the place, whether they have money or not. And if they don't have the money, they're getting fines, they're getting violations, they're getting penalties, and they have a possibility of getting foreclosed. Am I living in a bizarre world? Anybody old enough listening remember the Twilight Zone? Because that's where I feel that I am. I'll give you one last example. We talk about our friends owning the supermarkets, the grocery stores, the bodegas. We talked about our friends, the doctors. I'm not even going to touch the police because they already attacked, wanted to get defunded. So I think they're going through enough to be able to use their names and give them more grief than they deserve. I can't bring up the fire department because the fire department, half of them are volunteers. But let's pick another industry. Let's pick a industry. Let's pick the movie theater industry. So, Mr. Movie Theater man or woman or something in between, because we live in 2020 right now. Mr. and Mrs. Movie theater man, woman, we want you to continue operating your theaters. You're not allowed to take anybody in. You're not allowed to take anybody to show them a movie, which is what it's happening right now anyway. I really feel bad for that industry as well. It's not like I'm piling on top of them. They're going through their own grievances. But here's the big difference: they're not being forced to continue to pay everybody to keep them on board. They don't have to keep paying salaries. They could shut. They have the locking that door and saying, "I'm walking away forever." Landlords aren't in that situation unless they want to lose their building. And don't get me wrong, the movie theaters and the businesses that make the choice of locking the door and walking away, they're going to lose the money that they spent on an investment for the place. But at least they have that option and not have an ongoing lien and ongoing violations and fines follow them everywhere they go in the future. Now, I didn't expect to go off right now and to drag out this conversation throughout almost the entire show. But I think I needed to be perfectly frank with everybody. I needed to be honest and give a real hard look and understanding to many people of what is really happening right now. People really need to understand these things. Because if it could happen to landlords, it could happen to any single sector down the line. Whoever the government deems are below human standards, they're going to go after. And that's how they're treating right now the landlord, the housing provider, the people that are putting roofs over people's heads. They're treating them as subhuman type of individuals. Disagree with me? Write in real estate plate at real estate plate radio at gmail.com. Tell me how you feel. Put a comment down. Tell me how you feel. Send me something through Facebook and through Twitter. Let me know how you feel. Plenty of people have already done that. Plenty of people already dropped me as dropping fans or subscribers and that kind of thing. That's okay. You don't like to follow my channel just because I disagree with you? That's okay. We have the right to agree to disagree. And just like that, my good friend Lou is coming in. He's going to shoot me if I take too much of his time. How was your Thanksgiving, Lou?
It's all right. How are you? Oh, good. Thanks. Good.
Yeah.
You look like you had a good Thanksgiving.
Hey, why? Because I'm so fat? Is that why I had a good Thanksgiving?
No, I was going to say husky
Husky, huh?
or muscular.
I'm still trying to digest that turkey.
Oh, my God. Still got plenty left on my end.
But on that thought, I'm going to have to sign off. Like I said, I had so much stuff that I wanted to go over. I couldn't get into everything, but I promise you we'll get into it. And MLS, I promise you, I got a lot of stuff that I did research on, and you got a lot of answers. You got to have to answer a lot of questions because from what it looks like from the polls I put out there on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, seems like a lot of people agree with what I'm saying. And I'm not the only crazy guy out there pointing out things like that. But that being said, have a great week. Stay dry, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Make lots of money in real estate if you possibly can. I don't know. Depending on the sector that you're in, you might be making money. You and I might be making money, but be careful, be safe, and have a great night. I'll be back with you next Monday, just like every Monday night, 6 to 7. Have a good night.
Open it. Open it.
Don't put it.
Yeah, because you just put
That's Monday.
I'm doing Saturdays.
I'm gonna lose you.
Yeah, I'm doing Saturdays. 8:30.
Nobody can be on after me.
Streetwise, with former chief of the New York City Sheriff's Department, former chief of the CEO's Police Department, retired New York City detective.
They're gonna lose their top-rated show combo.
New York Veteran Police Association Streetwise Productions, host of Streetwise, Mr. Lou Solano.
Good evening and welcome back to Streetwise. I'm just saying good night to the my other not my co-host, but he does a great show here. Nick, what's the name of your show again? The Brady Show on there.
Well, thank you very much.
Is that
It's
the
the real
show?
estate plate.
Of course, the real estate place. If you're looking for real estate, this is the place. You call Nick just before this time slot, and you get anything you know about real estate. Speaking about people that know a lot, my guest, let me tell you, I'm sure you're familiar with him. He is a investigative reporter, journalist, author, political news commentator. He writes great articles, and I'm sure I think he's presently with the Daily Signal, but he's wrote great articles for Daily Caller, American Spectator, Daily Signal, National Review, Washington Examiner. Wow. Washington Free, something I almost said bacon. I wouldn't mind free bacon right now. I'll even pay for it, right, Nick? So
Absolutely.
it's the free bacon, by the way. So it's my pleasure. Oh, by the way, he is. What can I tell you? But we'll talk about it. Anyway, look, I want to welcome. He's hanging on the line for a few minutes. It's my pleasure to welcome Kevin Mooney. Kevin, welcome to Streetwise.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving to everyone there, and thanks so much for having me.
Wow. Did I miss anything? You're with so many different, you've done so much. Obviously, the big thing is that you're with the Heritage Foundation. I think I'm a member. I'm not sure.
Well, we're glad to have you as a member. If you're not, we can.
Very good. Good. I heard you could fix a lot of things. Can we fix this election?
I don't think we can fix this particular election. I think we can expose certain things going forward. And we have to fight tooth and nail to really put an end to mail and ballot. So we go back to having election day. That should be the goal. When they fix the current election, I think we can expose things. I don't think time is on our side.
Yes.
The other thing I throw out there too, remember, Donald Trump actively campaigned against mail and ballot.
Correct.
It should be surprising if Joe Biden got a majority of mail and ballot. So, what I would say going forward is one of two things. Ideally, we should root out the mail and ballot post-COVID-19. Absentee ballots are a different animal. That's one of them. There's military people working out of town and other conditions. But you should have a reason, rather than just mailing out blanket mail and ballot. So clearly, I do think mail and balloting creates opportunities for fraud and irregularities that are part of the pool So one of two choices is either root that out, or you have to meet power with power and start funding the campaign. Worst case scenario, rather than campaigning against mail and balloting, you've got to come up with some version of it. That's the scenario that we're looking at. I think the reality is that Joe Biden will take the oath of office.
Oh, boy.